Okay. So, what does Central Park mean to you?
Well, when I was about 11, 10, no, 11, 12, 13, 14, I used to come with my father. I lived in Michigan on a business trip with him, and so when I was old enough to travel a little bit in Manhattan on my own, I used to go to the Museum of Natural History, and then I would go into Central Park, and it was always this kind of magical place. And so when I moved to New York, I happened to move to living a few blocks north of the museum, and so it has a kind of thrill just being in Central Park. As I guess it's like this magical place that now I can visit every day if I want, and so it has just that kind of meaning. Plus, it's a very beautiful place, and there's always lots of things going on like this, and just a nice place to go. There's up on the 80s on the west side, there's a grove of cherry trees that blossom, for like 2 weeks every year, and it's always extremely beautiful. And I like to walk through that.
Yeah, so I see someone actually on the east side too, right outside near the Met.
Right.
Right, just inside the park. It's like they're just
right. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just not as close.
Yeah. Well,
the East Siders and West Siders inhabit two different worlds.
Well, I'm a East Sider, so native New Yorker, grew up on the East Side. So.
Oh well.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for you.
You'll have to forgive me.
So Central Park is. It kind of gives me the interest in visiting other parks, like Hyde Park in London and the Bois de Boulogne in Paris, and sort of these large city parks are a special breed, and we're very fortunate that it's here, because I don't think if the city were being, I don't know what it's like new cities like in China, whether they're building large parks like this, I don't know, but it seems that it's something that was done in a certain period, and it's good that it's still preserved. Look at these trees; they're hundreds of years old.
Yeah, the American elm.
Yeah,
the American elm.
Yeah.
The last of some
They're
of them
amazing.
around. Yeah, they last couple of weeks they were manicuring them. They were like cutting off branches and everything. They make a lot of noise, but
well, they have to. They have to take care of them.
Yeah,
When we had that storm, Sandy, we lost a lot of trees and parts of trees.
So the park was closed for a couple of days or more.
And we lost quite a few. But we still have quite a few, so that's nice.
Okay, I've got your picture. So the picture I just took of you, what does that picture mean to you?
Well, it means I look a lot older than I remember looking. Every time I see a picture of myself, I think, what's my father doing there? It's nice because first of all, I'm in the park, and secondly, because it has this vintage quality, it sort of reminds me of the fact that I had a Polaroid, the very first one that came out, I don't know, 1950, maybe 52. I was a little kid, and I don't know how I got one. But I did, and I made little, sort of not movies, but little stories with my friend, and we even had a stereo attachment. So we had these and a viewer, which was something like from the 19th century, because it was two little black and white photos like this, but they were side by side, and then you put it in the viewer and you actually had three-dimensional Polaroids. So I think I still have them somewhere hidden away. They didn't hold up, you had to coat them and they still kind of yellowed over time, but they're still there. So it means a lot to me, because it's like putting me back in in a historical moment for me, my own historical moment.
No, but just see, these already have a coating in it.
Yeah.
So
it's already ready to
So
go.
they're,
Yeah. No, we used to have to slide this stuff over it and wait.
like a varnish.
Yeah, it's like a varnish. Yeah, but it was special. It came in the film pack,
Yeah.
and I don't remember how much it cost, but I don't know if I don't remember how expensive it was, but it didn't seem to be. But then you only took so many. You know, you were very careful about taking pictures. Not like with the digital camera, you can take hundreds. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, well, that brings me to the next question. About how would that picture compare to a phone picture? You know, I saw that you have the exact phone that I have, the iPhone 6 Plus. So if you're out here and you say, oh, you know, I want a picture of me in the park, but I'm not here. So you gotta.
Well, you have the selfie option.
Yeah, but I don't think you could take that.
No. You.
I mean that angle.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have the sense of. It's like placed in history already, and it has a permanence that phone photos don't have. I mean, you can you can print them and so on. Some of them are very beautiful, but then it does give access to recording things that, unless you're carrying a camera around with you, you would ordinarily see. So you can even take movies. There's a full-length movie called Tangerine, which was shot on an iPhone 5.
Yeah, that is people are doing that.
Yeah, and it's incredibly good. I mean, the quality is amazing, but the film itself is a very brilliant film.
I'm sorry. Even major motion pictures and film schools incorporate it.
Really? Yeah. Well, there are these, I know, digital movie cameras that are much larger than the phone, but they're still fairly small, which just makes filmmaking accessible to people that it wouldn't have been accessible to. So I think there's a very big difference between a single photograph that's on paper immediately and that doesn't exist anywhere else. So it has a special significance. But I know that people are not, because my wife deals with antique objects and stuff, and she said that people aren't buying frames anymore. So I don't know what they're looking at their photos on a screen somewhere.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of framed photographs, but nobody else does.
Yeah, I mean, when I want to display my artwork, it has to be printed and put in a frame and put on the wall. That's the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah.
Not in the computer.
Yeah, I know. I have quite a lot of paintings and things in my house. So, of course, 3 of them are portraits of me and my family, but that was all accidental. I have friends who are artists who just happened to decide to do these paintings of us, and so it's a little bit strange that you have photographs of yourself. I mean, the portraits. But even those are nice because some of them are old. So there's me in my 20s or 30s, and there's me in my 40s, and my kids when they were little, and my dog that's dead, and my parent that's dead. They're in there. So anyway, I think having permanent artwork and photographs, I include in that, I have a lot of photographs also. Are really important. I took some black and white. I had a Hasselblad at one time, which I stupidly sold. stupidly because I couldn't then afford the lenses. I had one lens, and the lenses are, you know, the Hasselblad. Anything Hasselblad is super expensive. So, but I'm sorry I did, because the photographs I took with that are extraordinary, and they're portraits of me and my wife when we were in our early 20s that are very artful then, because I was really into it. And they're hanging on our wall. Some that people took of me. It's really good.
So what are your plans?
I'm going to look for a frame. I have some, or I'll see if I can find a frame for this. I'll put it up. And I could scan it and enlarge it, but that's like taking the mystery away. Yeah, it's so it's nice to have.
So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Michigan, from outside Detroit. Went to school in Chicago, more school in California. Then I came back to finish my training here in New York, and I stayed.
Okay. And what's your first name?
Murray.
Well, yeah, thank you for the interview, and enjoy your picture.
Thank you. Now that you mentioned you had art.